We're live. Okay, let me. Is this it? Wait, I don't even remember how to do it anymore. Oh my goodness. I think it's this button. Yes, there we go. Okay, that's done. So, before I begin, I have a couple little shout outs to do. But before I do that, let's just open this up. And there is an unrelated story that comes with this. Because this is Beer Van Brugge. And see, you see this and you see beer, but it's bear in Dutch. So there's a bear here. So it's a bear, and it's a play on words. And oh my gosh, that's why I got this. And also it won the World Beer Award. And I chose this one because I got all of them. But this one has an ABV of 12%, and I want it to drink. So let's pour this out. I'm excited. Ooh, it's a brown. It's pretty brown too. Look at that color. It has a very nice odor coming from it. It's not as, it seems almost like it's a little ambery. Oh, lots of sediment. Yummy. So I feel very awkward because I haven't been on for like 2 months, and I'd like to say, oh, blah, 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 excuses. No, it's because YouTube wasn't fun, and oh, Corona got to me. And so I just stopped doing things. And now we're in the study block, and I'm a bit grumpy. But I had a couple things happen to me, and I feel really good, and I wanted to spread the happiness. But before I do, I know I keep saying shout outs. There were a couple people who, after I hadn't been online for a while, who reached out either through Twitter or Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. And I appreciate everybody who wanted to check up on me. And I even had a really good laugh because a lot of people thought I died. It's like, it went really dark. It started off so high, like, oh my gosh, how are you? By the way, are you dead? And it made me giggle. So thank you for everybody. I'm fine. I'm alive. Things are going better. I have been grumpy because study block. I'm studying. But I got this super nice comment today from, let me look up the name. It's Deverick100, who, the comment just made me smile. So thank you so much for your comment, because I know I replied back and said thank you, but really your comment it made me smile and made my day. But the greatest thing happened, and I'm going to share it with you after we try this beer. Oh my goodness, this is delightful. Oh man, I miss beer. Wow, this has such a smoky taste to it. I feel like I'm getting such barbecue vibes. I feel like this would be the perfect beer to have while you're standing next to a barbecue and it's really smoking. We recently did a barbecue. Wow, this would go perfect with it. Oh, this has a very delightful aftertaste. I can't place that taste, but it's so delicious. I can see now why they won an award. This is delightful. Round of applause. My only annoyance is that I checked out this company, which the link should be in the little box below, and they don't seem to have any social media, and I don't like that. That probably means they're a really small brewery. But I like when I can tag people in social media. So, the thing that happened. For those of you who are new, hello, my name is Kathryn. I'm an American. I live in Belgium. And I started a YouTube channel, I think it's maybe 3-4 years ago. I don't know. How long have I been here? Doesn't matter. What matters is, I think 2 years ago, I made the decision that I wanted to pursue publishing and turn my hobby of writing into a living. And my way of doing this was reading stuff on the internet, gathering all that up, throwing it against the wall, and seeing what stuck. And after 2 years, not much happened. And I realized this is not an effective way to start a business. And it just so happens that during this time I had to learn Dutch. I was taking the integration course. So I had time to play around, but my time to play around was coming to an end. And I hadn't gotten as far as I had hoped in my career. So I revised it and thought, well, what's my problem? And my problem is that I didn't know how to run a business. And this stuff online was all contradicting. Some of it, no, I can honestly say now, most of it's garbage. But part of the reason why I decided to go back to school and to study business specifically is because I wanted to learn how to start a business. And the program that I'm in, really, it's a top-notch program. Highly recommended, just because so far everything that I've learned this year, it's not just the theoretical knowledge. There's also all these tasks that we have to do for practical application. So I feel like I've learned so much in the first year. Just thumbs up. Just all the way. If you're in the position to go back to school to pursue a topic that you want to learn about and it's going to help you pursue what you want, I highly suggest it. But what's interesting is we're in the study block, and now that I have experience in business, one of the more fun ways to study is I'll go into the writing communities and I'll actually offer advice. And not just advice on like, oh, this is what you should do. I actually just typically suggest books or case studies that other people could read to better inform themselves and make a decision based on what their personal goals and objectives are for their business. Now, it just so happens that I did this the other day. And I won't lie. Part of the reason why this whole year has been so difficult is that I've been having buyer's remorse. Oh my goodness. I love learning new things. I really do. And I love my teachers. I love all the students. I just don't like going to classes or doing homework or having to study for tests. Like, if we could get rid of all of that, school would be amazing. But I also think part of the struggling that I have is the fact that classes have all been online, and there really isn't interaction with any of the other students except online or through Facebook or just behind a screen, and you don't get to see anybody. And tone is very difficult to read online. So if you're constantly pestering people with questions or something, for them, they may not even like consider it pestering, but then you start to wonder, well, maybe they think I'm annoying. And yeah, it's just, so I've been having lots of buyer's remorse. I went on to a writing community and somebody asked the question about market research. I feel like I'm pretty qualified to talk about this. It was in chapter 1 of market management in the first semester, and that bled into product development because there was a whole bunch of chapters on the customer journey and customer delight and how you should build your product around the customer. It bleeds into economy because there's all this stuff happening out in the environment that will dictate on how people will react to the market. It bled over into communications because if you're giving a speech, you have to think, well, who am I talking to? And you have to make your speech work for those individuals. And probably the most useful class when it comes to market research that I've taken so far is data research and applications for business decisions. And this whole class is essentially, how do you get data? How do you formulate the data? How do you present the data? How do you analyze the data? So I feel, like I sort of know what I'm talking about. Just a little bit. A little bit. Anyway, so the question for this woman through, she wanted to know, I swear I haven't drunk that much. The woman was doing market research through two ways. She was looking through the bestsellers list on Amazon, and then she was consulting the buyers who purchased this also bought this. And I thought that this was a bad method to do market research. And I have two reasons for this, and I stand by them. First of all, as far as I know, and I did double check this, and assuming that nothing's changed in the past year or something, the bestsellers list on Amazon updates hourly. Now, does that mean it actually updates hourly? I don't know, but it says it does. Which means if you're doing market research on there, it's not going to be representative of what the actual best-selling book is because it can easily be manipulated. In fact, there's some guy on YouTube who has a whole video on how he got his friend's book on the best-selling list. I think it's, I just watched it too. I forget what it's called, but there is a video. I'll try and find it and put it in the link below. Not the link, but the box below. But there, if you just go into, not Google, but YouTube and even type how to get on the Amazon bestsellers list, there are many videos that show how you can do it within 24 hours. It's easy to manipulate. So in terms of this is a place you can go to acquire data, to abstract information that's useful for market research, just didn't make sense to me. And then the second problem with the people who bought this book also bought this is that from a marketing perspective, let's just say that the algorithm only showed products that were bought alongside each other. That's not a useful algorithm. So from a business prospect or a business perspective, that would just be stupid because it's only going to be useful if the algorithm is showing products that the customer who's looking at them would be compelled to buy. So that means if you're doing market research in that way, your data is going to be 100% biased against what your buying preferences are and may not match your target audience that you want to reach. So I thought it was bad. Not only that, but as far as acquired data, the sample size wouldn't have been representative because you'd have to assume that the only people who buy books off of Amazon. And I'm not saying that Amazon doesn't have a great share. I'm just saying it's not the only one. And also, I think you always have to look at how do you search for books because you're going to be the first person in your target audience. But then you also have to ask, well, how do people in general find books? And they don't find them through Amazon. Maybe they do. I am more than happy to be proven wrong. How do you find books? I normally get books based on recommendations from book reading groups that I'm in or just theme groups that I'm in. I don't randomly do searches on Amazon. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm the weird one. Oh my goodness, this is delicious. Wow, just round of applause. Anyway, the whole writing community came upon me and saying how I was full of crap. And I'm the type of person that I'm open to being wrong. But I'm also the type of person that I'll go and double check myself. And I still have the principles of marketing, which if you guys are entrepreneurs yourself or small business, this is a book that I would highly recommend. It's by Philip Coulter, I think that's his first name. He is the person who created the field of social marketing. So if anybody knows what he's talking about, I feel like he would, since he created social marketing as we know it. And I thought it was interesting that people were telling me that you're full of crap when I'm literally taking the words from the guy who created the field and wrote the literal book, which is the Bible of marketing. And as I said, I'm willing to be wrong, but if you want me to believe you over the guy who quite literally wrote the book and created the field, like, well, where are your accolades? How many books on marketing and social media and all that have you written? And where's your doctorate in business? Because you're not fighting me in this point, because I'm just vomiting out words from the book and the case studies that I've learned in school. You're fighting over experts who are far better at this and smarter than I could ever be. I'm just parroting the words that I learned at school. And I have this moment where, for the first time in a few months, I did not have regrets. I was like, oh my goodness, this is why I chose to go to school, because I knew the writing community, unfortunately, is filled with a bunch of idiots. And I know I'm such a horrible person to say that. I don't like to bring down people, but to connect this to a really random thing, I'm taking philosophy this semester. And I should know this because I literally studied it today. And I can't remember, I think it was Socrates or Plato, but somebody came up with this analogy of people in a cave. And the people in the cave are chained and can only look forward. And they see shadows from the world outside, and they perceive those shadows as true. But one of the people, they get free and they go out into the world and they realize that the shadows are reflections of real things and not real things themselves. So this prisoner gets used to the world and then goes back to the cave and tries to free the other people. And they're all like, you're insane. You don't know what you're talking about. And it was this, would it be called an analogy or a metaphor? I don't know. It's one of those words where people will not take in consideration the truth if it goes against their core beliefs, even if their core beliefs are wrong. And I remember when we first started learning this story, I was like, wow, that guy seems really arrogant. But then this whole situation with the writing community made me think of that, because they're just wrong. And it's really, it's just sad. Because the whole argument, and I'm making good arguments, and theirs were, well, I think you're wrong, therefore you're wrong. And that's called a particular fallacy, which I also should know because I studied that, but I don't remember. I need to know this stuff for the exams. I think they're in June. Oh, but yeah, it was on one part just sad because I don't understand people. I don't. I don't understand. Like, if you want to make a business and you want to be successful, why would you make it harder on yourself to do it? And I even said in this dialogue that I'm open to be wrong, but so far the only arguments was that I was wrong because you don't agree with me. And people don't have to agree with me, but that can't be your argument. Because it's not an argument. And I was doing the Socratic method, where I was playing the idiot and asking them, like, man, philosophy is a great class. People should take it. And they weren't able to justify their reasoning behind their decisions. And that's what annoys me. And that's what I'm so happy that I decided to go back to school, because everything when it comes to the business of YouTube and of writing, I'm not looking at it as, oh, well, this is how I feel. I'm basing it on, well, based on this principle or based on this case study, which is based on this principle, this is why I'm making this decision. So my decisions are made with purpose and not with feelings, or not based on, well, this author had this success story, so I'm going to do what they did. Because the exception does not make the norm, people. And man, I'm so happy I went back to school. And overall, I'm happy. I got this really nice message from somebody. I'm really happy that I went back to school, and it's sort of funny how mindset can work on your overall well-being. I think I'm starting to get tipsy now. Because today was the first day of studying where I looked forward to studying, and I wasn't feeling that way since I started on Thursday. It was just this thing like, I need to do it. I need to get through this because I need to pass my exams, and I didn't want to, and I was really struggling, and I was stressing because I didn't feel like I was learning stuff fast enough. And it all changed today because I kept thinking, I'm not doing this for other people, I'm doing it for myself, and I'm going to learn these principles so that when I make comments on the internet, even if I piss people off, which the little troll in me was really happy that I made these people mad, because I think there's a quote that says, if you're not upsetting people with the words that you say, then what you're saying isn't worth listening to or worth reading, or something along those lines. And I was really happy about that, because I wasn't upset. I was just sad that there were dumb people in the world. I was having a blast because I was also studying. And it showed me how much I knew data. And that was the class that I was worried about because I stopped paying attention to it. And I feel so horrible about that. My data teacher is so amazing and so nice. I love her. I'm going to have her next semester, well, next year actually, for Excel 2. But I'm actually excited about this because I was not looking forward to Excel 2 because Excel 1 was not fun. But she is just amazing and I love her. But oh, I stopped paying attention in her class. I was freaking out because her stuff seems really hard, but I was reading the course book and I was like, oh, no, it's actually not that difficult. So I think I'm going to be fine. The only class I may not be fine in is in economy, because there are, I think, 12 PDFs that I need to get through, and I'm still on chapter 2. Oh wait, no, I finished chapter 2 today. Yay! Now I just need to know what I need to know from the chapter 2 stuff. So I have to like answer the little review questions. And it was hard. Though I did get an email from my teacher because I sent him something on chapter 1 on like Friday because I didn't understand the question. And here, I'll read it to you. He says, where is it? Let's go. He says, first of all, I'm happy that you already started studying economy. And I'm just like, thank you. I appreciate your appreciation because, man, I like this guy. He's one of those teachers that he doesn't take BS, but he's also one of those teachers where you have to just know the stuff. And it's intimidating. Oh, my goodness. Oh, I guess I haven't talked about my classes in a while. We have philosophy. Philosophy is my first exam that I have, which is on the 1st. And I like my philosophy teacher. He's so chill, but I also sent him an email because we have these Venn diagrams that we have to do. And I've watched the videos on like how to do the Venn diagrams multiple times. I even did my own research on YouTube trying to figure out these Venn diagrams, and I finally just gave up and sent him an email. And I asked, is there like some I don't know, kindergarten version of these videos because this is just not clicking in my mind. And he gave me such a philosophy answer because I wanted to have like a document of all the, are they called solilogies, I think? It's where like all M is P, some P are S, therefore S is M or something like that. And I just wanted to have all of them so that I could see it visually and see how it works. And he said, I don't think it's wise to study Venn diagrams by heart when it's no longer feasible for you to get the tricks under the thumb when it looks more interesting to me to change your strategy. So he offers me some advice. He said, 1, concentrate on the model examples you see on page 34. Okay. 2nd, you can compensate for the missing point in that field by earning 2 bonus points on the exam by studying the bonus material. And then he says there's no guess correction, so just make a guess. And I love this. Like, oh my goodness. This is a guy who for our class had waiting music before we got there. I would love to have him again sometime in the future, but his answer just cracked me up. Like, yeah, if you don't get it, you're not going to get it. Just study the bonus material so that you can make up for the points that you're going to lose. I like that, though. He's great. After that, we have the marketing test, which is by my favorite teacher, Benny. I don't know what his last name is, and I feel weird addressing my teachers by their first name. But my favorite thing about Benny is his abbreviations, because he loves abbreviations, and sometimes they're not all good. Like, for example, today I was reading something like channel RE for POS. I'm reading that, and my first thought was POS means like piece of and then a bad word. I was thinking, I don't think that's it for the business. So I looked that up. And he meant point of sale, which made way more sense. But I didn't know what he meant for RE because for me, it's auto like relationships or reference, but it didn't make sense in the context of the sentence because, oh no, it was channel, no, what was it? Oh yeah, because I thought it was channel relations number of POS. That's what it said. And numbers wasn't plural, so I didn't think it was like in reference to, because it should have been in reference to numbers, but he just didn't put the S. That's why I thought it was relation. And I sent him an email asking about this, and my original email actually said that I know what POS stands for. I'm specifically asking for RE because I feel like sometimes he glosses over emails and just like, bam. And sure enough, he did. He glossed over that and was explaining POS to me, which is point of sale. I feel bad saying POS as many times as I have because it's not point of sale in my mind. It's something else. Anyway, it was in reference to. So I was sort of right. I feel like that story may not have been as funny now that I'm telling it, but it's hilarious in my head. Then there's accounting. And accounting's the test that I didn't do well last semester, and I started studying by copying all the stuff from our summary from the first semester. And I have flashcards that I created, but I'm redoing them because I don't remember the stuff from the first semester. And I already have it in my head that if I fail this class, I can just repeat it next year, and I think I'll be okay with that because I'm already going to have to stay an extra year because of the whole German thing. But I also don't want to have to repeat economy because I think how it does it is that she teaches economy 1, and the next year she teaches economy 2, but then that next year while she's teaching economy 2, another teacher teaches economy 1, and I think the teacher, I'm not going to name names, but I think the other teacher who teaches economy is the teacher I don't like. So I don't want to fail that class. Did I say economy the whole time? Because I meant accounting. I think I totally said economy. We're talking about accounting though. And I like her. But man, I don't know, like, I understand the theory of it. It's the practice of it that just doesn't always click with me. But I don't know. I'm comfortable if I don't pass that class. Basically the whole point of the story. And then we have economy from my funny teacher. We have law. Man, I really like law. European law makes no sense though. What was the question that I had? And I don't remember if I ended up, did I send her an email? I keep bugging my teachers. Yeah, I did send her an email. My question was, I'm in active states and working on recognition of other states. And I remember during the lesson I was confused and you explained in class and I really didn't get it, but I thought I'll study and figure it out. I'm having difficulties with individual versus explicit recognition. In the example, it says Sweden recognized Palestine, and then that is considered individual recognition. But if the Minister of Foreign Affairs recognizes, that is explicit. And I guess I don't understand how Sweden and the Minister of Foreign Affairs are different. And I really don't. Like, originally I had said the Prime Minister, and then I corrected myself, but I don't even understand the difference between the Prime Minister and the Minister of Affairs, because I really don't know what a minister even does. I actually had this whole argument with Prince Charming over the President of Belgium and the Prime Minister of Belgium, because I knew that there were two. I knew that Belgium had a president, and he was arguing with me, and then I looked it up. It's like, yeah, it's the president of the party. So like the people who won the party thing, that's the president guy. I was right. There's definitely a prime minister and a president. But yeah, I don't want to be a lawyer or an accountant. That's what I've learned so far this year. But I do like the law. It's just, it doesn't make sense half of the time. I like the European section though, because it teaches about European law, but we're on the international part. And it's confusing because I swear all the international organizations have the same letters for their abbreviations, and they all have like the same, their councils, or they're a cooperative, or it's all the same. It just, I don't like it, but European law, that's fun. Also, countries are called states, and that's just confusing. I feel like we need to be the United Provinces of America, because it becomes so confusing when she keeps saying the states, and it's like state in the concept of country. And I don't understand why they do that. Why don't you just call it country? I'm sure that there's a legal reason. Holy crap, this was so delicious. The only disappointing part about this is this. It's just, it has a stamp on the top. Oh, I didn't check the back. This is a legendary Belgian brown beer. And this is actually really difficult to read because it's like glaring. Yeah, it doesn't actually say anything. It just, the ingredients and stuff. That's not fun. I wish there was more of this. Wow. I understand why they won an award. This was delightful. I'm glad I got this. I'm going to guess that it's from Bruges. And I just want to say that I actually did some research on this, because anybody who's ever looked on Duolingo, there's this great sentence that says, I think it's de bier drinkt het bier, which is the bear drinks the beer. And it's a sentence that always irritated me, only because there aren't bears in Belgium. And it's actually hilarious because there are, I think, 5 countries in Europe that do not have bears, and Belgium is one of them. And I didn't understand, of all the stupid animals that they could teach me, they teach me an animal that I will never see in Belgium. And then I saw this, so maybe that's why that sentence exists on Duolingo. I don't know, but that's what I'm telling myself to make myself feel better. Anywho, I just wanted to come on today and say I'm still alive and share some updates so that people know that I'm indeed not dead. Oh, that's, I can't, I do want to like say that I'm laughing with you and not at you, because I had this whole same experience with a friend of mine, because my friend Carrie, who I sometimes stalk on Twitter, I went to search her because I realized I hadn't seen anything from her for a while, and her account was gone. I was like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. And I was freaking out, like maybe something happened to her, and I couldn't deal with that. So I was like, well, maybe she just blocked me. And I sort of like that better than something being wrong with her. And so I was reaching out to a whole bunch of people. I was trying to figure out what her last name was because I couldn't remember it, but I knew that she was on Facebook, so I remember seeing her there. But funnily enough, if you put like Carrie and then where she lives, she doesn't come up. And I realized that, oh wait, I'd actually emailed her before because I had questions about coding. So I had her email, and yeah, she's alive. So I understand when people do that, but it was, I don't know why. I think it made me happy that it was like, hey, we want to make sure that you're still around. Are you coming back? But also, are you dead? Because I do the same thing. And that just, relatability. It made me happy. Because it's been a weird month. Weird 2 months. It's been a weird year. Weird year. I really hope that next year, well, I guess it's not next year. It's when school starts after the summer vacation, that it'll be semi-normal again, that I'll be able to see people. And the sad thing is I am so introverted and I don't even really enjoy going out and seeing people. And yet, even I'm sort of tired of being at home. I've started going outside and doing walks. Like that's how much I miss, like, just being out. I'm willing to go out and take walks, which is just, I shouldn't say that isn't my thing, but normally if I'm taking walks, it's with purpose because I want to make videos. And I've gotten to the point that's, no, I need to go outside and have like some interactions, even if it's just with nature, because no, it's not working. Anyway, that's what I have for you guys today. I hope that you enjoyed this live stream. Thank you for everybody who joined, and I appreciate the people who gave me a thumbs up. And I will see you in the next one. When that will be, I don't know. Hopefully I can sort of make this more of a weekly thing. But I am in the study block, and I won't lie, part of the reason why you have a live stream now is that I've wanted to try this beer for a really long time, and I've been putting it off because I wanted to share the experience with you guys. So it'll probably be next week because I don't like to drink more than once a week. Because in my mind, that would make me an alcoholic, because that's my American mindset. Thank you for joining me, everyone, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Tootsies, my applesines.